Welcome to DCG Music. My name is David, and this is the first video of what I hope will be a few. And what we're going to focus on today is theory made easy. Theory was something that I struggled with when I first started playing guitar, and I think I plateaued because of it. But once you learn theory and you see how it's applicable and just realize how simple it is, it can really help the way you play. So that's what we're going to focus on. Let's go ahead and dive in. So when you're thinking about theory and chords and scales and modes and degrees, that can be a little confusing. So the best way to do is just start with a simple major scale. So we're going to do the C major scale. No sharps, no flats, simplest scale. So let's go ahead and find our C, which is the first fret on the B string, and that's our root or our 1. And if you're unfamiliar, the way that the C major scale is, or any major scale, is just a whole step to the 2, a whole step to the 3, a whole step to the, a half step to the 4, a whole step to the 5, a whole step to the 6, a whole step to the 7, and then a half step back to your root. So there's 7 numbers, root being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root. And so what are the characteristics of those different degrees? Well, for C major, then the root position of this major chord, C, is major. And then your 2 chord, which is that D, is minor. Your 3 chord, which is E, also minor. Now you have that half step to the 4 chord, which is a major chord. A whole step to the 5 chord. A whole step to the 6 chord. Kind of hard to get in here. We'll just do A minor up here. And then we have that 7 diminished chord. And then back to your C major. So, how does this tie in? You're probably thinking, I already know all that. Well, if you do, that's great. But where we can use this as a tool to map out all the modes. So we know that the 1 in the C major is 1's major, 2 minor, 3 minor, 4 major, 5 major, 6 minor, and so on and so forth. What if we started on the 2? And the 2 became our new 1. So now our 1 is this minor chord here. Our 2 is what was the 3, minor. Our 3 is now a half step, and that's a major chord. Our 4 is now a whole step, and that's another major chord. Our 5 is a whole step, and that's a minor chord. And then our 6 would be that diminished B. Our 7 would be a C major, and then we'd land on that D minor as our 1. And so what is that? So that is the Dorian mode. The Dorian mode is starting from the 2nd degree of the C major scale. And you can do that across all the degrees. So if you wanted to start from the 3rd degree, so then you have a root that is now a minor, E minor. You have a half step to your 2, which is major, a whole step to your 3, which is major, a whole step to your 4, which is minor. I'm getting to the bottom here. And that's Phrygian. And you can do that across the entire scale. If you wanted to start from the 5th degree, that's the Mixolydian mode. If you started from the 6th degree, that's Aeolian, or the minor mode. And so this is just a really easy way for you to be able to understand how modes work. So if somebody says, hey, I'm going to play this song in D Dorian, and you're thinking, well, what is D Dorian? Well, you know it's the 2nd degree of C major, and they share the exact same scale. You can use that scale to play over D Dorian. You can use that scale to play over A minor or A Aeolian, because that is the 6th degree of the C major scale. And so you can use that same. Now you would obviously want to emphasize the notes of those chord keys, so D for D Dorian or A for A Aeolian, but you are using the C major scale. So another neat thing to think about with theory and kind of how these different majors and minors work is if you wanted to write a song. So if you were thinking, I want to write a song in a major key, and I want to just take a hat and I want to throw the numbers 2 through 6 in them. We're going to leave the 7th out because that diminished chord is kind of a funny one. And you could randomly pull numbers out. 3, 6, 4, 5, and then 1. And so if we were in C major, you would know the 3 is your E minor, the 6 is your A minor, the 4 is your F, the 5 is your G, and then you finish back on your root. So you could say, hey, I'm going to make a song up and I want to do those chords, so I can do. And there's your song. And that works for every single mode. So let's say, for example, you wanted to write a song in Dorian, and we want to know what the 3 chord is in Dorian. Well, let's go back to that D minor, what we were using, 2nd degree of C. We know it's a whole step to the 2, half step to the 3, and that's a major chord. So that 3 chord in your Dorian key would be major. So there's lots of stuff that you can do with this. Really, when we get into later videos, we're going to talk about triads, chord tones, intervals. Those in combination with this theory concept can really spice up your lead play. But I think we'll leave it like this for now. If you like what you heard, or if you want to learn more, please feel free to leave a comment. Let me know if you liked it or if you have any questions, and we'll see you on the next one.